Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so happy to have Geno Church with us today. Geno is the Director of Discovery and Strategy for We Must Be Bold, coming to us from the great state of South Carolina. Welcome, Geno.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, great to have you. Gino is going to be talking to us about what he's going to be presenting on the 30th of September at the 2021 AMA Madison Annual Conference. He's going to be talking about community mythology. What are you teaching us in your session?
Well, Steve, what I want to share is what I really think is one of the most important journeys a brand or an organization can embark on, and that's finding their community mythology, the stories that people collect, share, and enrich upon about a brand, an organization, and how it connects with their life. And I will tell you how I go about it, share some of the things that I do, and share some stories, and then mix in a little science. I'm also a practitioner of WOM, which is word of mouth marketing. I I'm not an official science researcher, but I'm a armchair researcher for, gosh, probably 15 years. So I'm a word of mouth practitioner. So the science of word of mouth that is proven is that there's three motivational triggers for WOM, for word of mouth. There's the functional trigger, the emotional trigger, and the social trigger. And I'm going to talk about that because a really interesting thing about community and about community mythologies, and when you think about word of mouth and the power of a recommendation, is that word of mouth cannot happen without community. So that comes into the kind of the conversation I like to call the human grid, and that's the intersections that we all have with our communities. Steve, it could be your community around that maybe in high school you played basketball and your, I don't know, and I know University of Wisconsin has played, plays great basketball. So maybe there's, if someone has an interest in that, you could hook them up with a ticket. There could be something that goes into there. So human grids are something that I hope that I can help people to get an understanding of, to think about community and the power of the influencer next door, or in science, they call it, in science research, they call it the everyday influencer. But kind of a new term for it is kind of this influencer next door that happens to be 4 times more powerful than an average consumer. And so, I think part of that is that we'll explore, and I will challenge you to think about, is if you think about community and a community initiative for your brand or organization, maybe it's just your startup, or maybe it's something that you're promoting for yourself, is what do you want out of it, and what are your expectations? And then, I'm going to try to push you out the door, out of your office. I know that we're still all Zooming, but whenever we can, that we can sit down and meet people face to face and eye to eye, and learn and discover how we really affect and hopefully contribute to the life of our customers, our advocates, and our fans. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about, you need to get out there and journey to find your community myths, your community mythologies that are these stories. And then I'm going to blend in a little science and share with you some ways you can kind of apply that into your community efforts.
Fantastic. So you're really going to be changing our perspective on what a brand community is all about, and really inspiring us to spend more time in that discovery process of building community.
Yes, Steve, you said it far better than my wanting to try to tell you a story. I think it's really difficult, and it puts a lot of pressure on us that we really shouldn't do when we sit there and try to whiteboard a community before we ever even talk to anyone. We should always start with people first, and not the shiny objects. And I think a lot of people believe that they can start a Facebook or an Instagram campaign or promotional effort, and that's a community effort. And that's really using the word wrongly. Community, when you ask most people about what that means, and maybe we'll just talk about that at the event, is it's going to come around usually about the people that connect to something that you care about. I'm a Mustang driver, so I'm a part of a Mustang community. I have an order a new Bronco. I'm a member of that community. I'm also a board member, a moderator for the fan page of the school that I went to. I am a Disney nut, and so I'm a member of that Diz community. None of those are owned by the brand,
Right.
and so to be able to do a brand community, we've got to bring some of that personal type of elements that are these grassroots communities that we're probably all part of. So we need to learn from them.
Mhm.
So I hope I do kind of rewire our thinking a little bit on that and get people to build something that is more meaningful and more sustainable.
Terrific. I can't wait to hear about it. Maybe you'll give us a couple tips on Fripp Island and what we should do when we visit there, right?
Just got back, and I can do that. Of course, y'all have got some beautiful, I love the river area there, and there's so many areas that I love in Wisconsin. So
Yeah, no, obviously, and the work that you've done because of your visits here and what you've done with the Cheeselandia community, let's say, for the dairy farmers of Wisconsin, that's been great to see. So we look forward to learning more, and we'll see you on the 30th of September, virtually, unfortunately.
I know, sadly, I'm going to miss Wisconsin. So, but I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds great, Gino. We'll talk to you then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.